It's great to have you keep our company on Weekend Deal this day, just like you did yesterday. We began our conversation talking about the Nigerian movie industry and its role in national development. We talked about the creative and qualitative avenues in the industry. We also talked about sex for roles allegations that sometimes make the rounds. We went to different parts of the country. We spent time having a very in-depth chat with veteran Nollywood actor Chief Pete Edochie, MON. Today, we continue in that regard and we're exploring other insights, other topics that have come up, talking about the creatives, of which the media is a part, but we focus on our movie industry at this time. Our program is interactive. In the course of the program, we'll love to hear from you, as we often do. Well, Francis is taking another look at the Nigerian movie industry this time, and it will be focusing on the poor showing of our movies in international movie competitions, as well as how the Nigerian movie industry is celebrating our diversely cultured nation. And there is more. Francis, show us.
Because I'm going to miss you.
Nigerian films are panacea for growth and advancement, development, improvement and progress. This development could come in various facets such as culture, economy, social, political and moral, among others.
We employ almost on a daily basis people who don't even have anything to do, who don't even have basics of film acting or whatever. Before you know it, they come into the industry. Before you know it, they become directors. They become light guys. They become set guys. They become actors. Before you know it, they begin to employ other people. So by so doing, you are taking people out of the street and giving them jobs.
Film is a purveyor of culture. It helps to preserve the culture of a people from eroding away, and this is a focus of implementation of the Nigerian National Policy on Film article, which states that film will be produced to protect and promote our rich cultural heritage and our national aspirations in the process of development.
Most of the story we tell about ritual killing in the industry is to warn people the dangers, of falling victims of such things, to let people know that there is no gain in this thing. Nothing, it doesn't pay, it doesn't last, and all that. It's not that we're celebrating it.
As a storyteller, as a screenwriter, I will not see you, standing somewhere without your cap, on a palm, slippers, as a military man, as a police force man, as a man in the force, and then I go to tell the same story, giving you shoe to wear, giving you cap to wear. No. If I do that, I'm not painting a good picture. So when I do it the way I see you or the way I saw you, it is left for you now to go and correct it. So it was at that point that they began to give us their uniforms, because you will see a DPO seated in the office because there's no uniform to wear. We just get one police uniform and hang it somewhere, hiding all the ranks and everything. You see the man wearing suit and whatever, which is not supposed to be. So Americans have gotten to a level where everything they give us, we believe it. You mean Americans don't have dirty places in their place? They do. Go to New York. It's just like the Ajegule in Lagos, in Nigeria. Go there, you see it. So we tell our story the way it is. If it hurts you, correct it.
While the Nigeria's film industry provides films to millions of viewers around the globe, yet it still maintains an informal structure of street market sales and low-budget productions.
We no longer do this, what they call it CD, DVDs, things and all that. That's no longer in vogue. Now it's something you have to put out there on TVs, you put out there on the internet, you sell, then you, from the viewers, you're able to get your pay. You could be in cinemas and all that. So the piracy thing has reduced a bit.
I don't sell my movie again to a marketer. I sell to the TV station. And TV station cannot sell to a marketer. You understand? Based on my agreement with the TV station, when they are done, if you say 1 year or 2 years, I can sell to any other TV station or whatever. That movie will not go anywhere. So the emergence of all these TV stations really helped all of us. It cut off everything about piracy. It cut off everything about copy your work, copy this, copy that. No, and it gave us that room to be more creative.
Nollywood's struggle to its present state has been Herculean. Despite its runaway success since its inauguration in 1992, Nollywood has consistently battled with the challenge of inadequate funding for the industry.
Up to tomorrow, Things Fall Apart stands out. Why? It was a budget, it was a project well sponsored, well financed. So you cannot give me like 50 million to do a movie now. I will go and sleep. No, I will work overnight. I will work morning till morning to make sure that that money is well utilized. But not when I have only 1 million or 2 million or 3 million. What do you expect? What kind of story? What kind of acting? What kind of scenario do you want to get from a movie of 2 million, 3 million, 4 million? But when they step in, we begin to do government projects.
Film plays an important role in the development of any group of people, ethnicity, race, nation, or country. Therefore, our focus on Weekend Deal today will be on Nigeria's movie industry and national development. Weekend Deal!
Many thanks, Francis. That was in-depth. When we were talking with Chief Peter Duce yesterday, we reminded him of the CBN Intervention Fund, and perhaps that's another avenue that many filmmakers can exploit and explore. And it's gladdening to know that the issue of piracy has greatly reduced. I spoke with Papel Appel. One of the things he was concerned about was getting the technical know-how and the technical quality of our movies right. That way, we can gain more international prominence. Let's see this.
Your son-in-law is a criminal, and my job is to take such off the street of Nigeria.
Nigeria's movie industry is becoming a force to reckon with, growing its fan base from 20 million in 2003 to over 100 million.
Africa has stories, Nigeria has stories, because you always hear, but the filmmaker makes you see and feel. It's better for you to tell a Nigerian story today and let the world see than trying to do a film like an American film.
The creativity in the storytelling is attributed to how Nigerians embrace diverse stories. In an accessible way, they utilize English, Pidgin, and other Nigerian dialects.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Okay. My name is Telly Ombajo, alias Redis Milo. I sit down there, I see you fine, oh. So I come, we'll do friendship. So.
You see us. Don't you recognize your class when you see one?
The storylines have shown that we are possibly in need of each other. Now you see them crossing, you see a film done by an Igbo producer featuring majorly a lot of the northern actors into it, and even fusing cultures. We try to show that this person is from this part of Nigeria, being friendly or doing something along with this person. They look at an Igbo man as a business person in the north. That has united us so much.
The creative industry in Nigeria is acknowledged and recognized throughout Africa. In spite of this, some say the movie-making industry in particular is not providing enough opportunities for highly specialized talents and skill sets.
This medium is very technical. Now you have a good story, you have good actors. How are they captured? You use light and camera position to create mood. You know, the image speaks louder than words. If I want to portray that somebody is depressed or is not happy, he doesn't need to tell me in his language that he's not happy. If he said he's not happy in his language, I need somebody who understands his language to tell me what he's going through. But effectually, by camera position, by lighting mode and environment production design, I can tell that this person is depressed or is not happy. If I pick that image, I go to take it to anywhere in the world, they will know that this person is not happy.
The question now is, can the Nigerian movie industry compare favorably internationally?
Nollywood has a lot to offer if things are done right. I advise that those who know what to do should be pushed to cross the bridge so that we can gain so much around the world. There's so much out there that Nollywood can bring into this country, just like the crude oil, the content we have, the world is looking out for it. So if we play our games very well, in fact, before 5 years, we'll feel the difference greatly.
Perhaps with more originality, more reality, better scripting, and more training locally and internationally, the Nigerian movie industry can move higher still.
Who's with?
Gabriel, us.
What are you looking for?
I'm trying to find my measurement book.
Come here. Can we be friends?
From what we're learning, a great movie is supposed to use its visuals to tell the story. Not everything should be said verbally. If you see something, based on the visuals you're seeing, it can tell you before the voice comes up what is going on. We're moving, we're growing, we'll get there. Our program, Weekend Deal, is interactive. You know that already. Reach out to us. Are you a movie actor, filmmaker? Do you want to be in the Nigerian movie industry? Of course, if you are Nigerian and you're watching us, let us know your thoughts on the Nigerian movie industry and its contribution to national development. Well, it's time for Kannywood. You know about it. What's up with them? NTA Kanu, tell us.
This is a production crew of Kannywood filmmaking industry on set, giving a professional touch to actualize an interesting Hausa movie. Kannywood started as a home video movie, making a negligible turnover. Today, the industry is a multi-million naira investment, providing mass employment opportunities to young promising talents that seek to make breakthroughs in the movie industry. Nasir Baba Muhammad is a household name in Kannywood when it comes to film directing and producing. He recalled with nostalgia how the industry started from scratch to fame.
It's a long journey, or rather it has been a long journey, and we can proudly say, just like our southern counterpart, it started from the stage to screen, and that dates back to the 1980s. Yeah, but officially the home movie produced was in 1990. Tilmundanya, that was the first Hausa movie that was produced, yeah. And so far, thousands of movies have been produced over the course of more than 30 years. And there also has been evolution in the industry, in the marketing sector, regarding the skills of the filmmakers and also the equipment. There have been serious transformation or evolution.
Undoubtedly, Kannywood has introduced modern approach to Hausa movie in terms of entertainment and love stories that thrills viewers' yearnings and aspirations. Kannywood industry enjoys a wider viewership in the north and Hausa-speaking countries in Africa and beyond. However, in spite of the huge progress made, Kannywood still battles with one challenge or the other.
In the Kannywood industry, we have so many challenges from our own people. What I mean by our own people is some scholars. We face some challenges from some scholars because a lot of things we do are misconstrued by the scholars, and they are by labeling us as, would I say, outcasts.
Matsalolin da muke fama da su bai wuce cewa har yanzu mutanenmu ba su yadda cewar fim wani abu ne da zai kawo canjin rayuwa ko kuma zai kawo ƙarin tattalin arzikin ƙasa ko kuma zai ƙara wayar da kan mutane ba.
Kannywood has come of age because now a lot of producers are targeting major stream platforms like Netflix and Amazon.
Ai fim ya zo kuma ya sami gindin zama kuma fim ya nuna wa duniya, fim din Hausawa na arewa da ake kira Kannywood ya nuna duniya cewar shi ma zai zama zakaran gwajin dafi.
The prospects of filmmaking industry can be harnessed properly when adequate support and investment is given to the sector. No doubt, filmmaking industry is a stronghold in terms of employment generation, revenue, and entertainment.
Interesting. Many of us like the music. When you hear the music and girls are dancing and some guys do, it makes you want to move your body. Well done, Kannywood. We continue to move forward. Ena Nobu is directing Weekend Deal today, but that's not just all she's doing. During the week, she was also exploring, doing some research about the controversy that surrounds the Nigerian movie industry and rituals. We spoke to Chief Peter Duchi about it, but let's see what Ena found.
Please, help us. Please.
The movie industry in Nigeria, popularly known as Nollywood, has grown over the years to a multi-billion-dollar entity with critical acclaim in the sub-region and beyond. With many accomplishments and projecting the image of the country in the international arena. However, the Nigerian movie industry has in recent time come under criticism for some stakeholders and movie critics for the glamorization of ritual killings in movies, which has contributed to the current craze among young people in ritual killings for quick wealth.
Every country making movies do films that represent their culture and their people. People in Nollywood is not about riches. Yes, if you watch our film critically, we go through so many processes. We have what is called censor board. If you go into rituals in any Nollywood film, the repercussion is there for you. The end of the film shows the repercussion of ritual killing because you must have repercussion. You must have a payback, and that is what censor board does. Censor board cannot give you a certificate if you do rituals and succeed throughout. Censor board must find a way to punish the ritualist. So if our youths are looking into Nollywood, are they not looking at the end bit? So whoever is telling you Nollywood is doing this is telling the whole world lies. Nollywood is not.
Some critics are of the view that movie producers would rather showcase the rich cultural heritage of the country. However, some have faulted the assumption that the display of ritual killings for wealth has in any way influenced young people in their quest for wealth.
Every country is being represented in movies based on their daily life. If you go to America, people carry guns anyhow. In Nigeria, people carry juju and all these things anyhow. So it must reflect in our films, because this is the culture of Africans.
Some players in the movie industry argued that the prevailing situation of ritual killings across the country amongst young people is merely a reflection of the society. They heap the blame on the moral decadence in our society.
A mother will tell a child, Come, what is you can't do what your mate is doing. Is that person not your mate? Is he not married? Is she not married? He's driving a car. You are here still eating under in my house. Is it Nollywood that is telling that mother or father to tell the child so? And when it becomes a problem tomorrow, you say it's Nollywood. There's a parental problem. The National Assembly that is even talking about Nollywood being this thing, are they helping matters? What have they done to improve the lots of filmmaking in this country? Nothing. 2006, when Obasanjo was the president, there was a committee on Ministerial Committee on Nigeria Film Review Policy. I was a member of that committee. Between 2006 and today, it's not been implemented. It has not been passed in the House. It's about what kind of films do we want? How do we want to operate this industry? How do we want to go about it? Is it a professional body like the NBA, like the Nigerian Society of Engineers, and all these things? Let's even kind of structure it properly.
It is a journey and a channel of communication that inspires and impacts the society, however way you look at it. Therefore, more diligence should be deployed to ensure that our movies showcase the right values that would promote our rich cultural heritage. While movie producers have a lot to do to change the narrative in directing the get-rich syndrome amongst our people, it is incumbent on parents also to show more interest in what their children do and watch.
Thank you, Ene Onobo. We need to pay attention to what our children see, what they understand, what they garner from anything that they see, and let's see how it impacts on them. We must keep monitoring them for best practices. It's time to go to NTA Ibadan. GDP, gross domestic product. What is the contribution from the Nigerian movie industry?
The Nigerian movie industry, also known as Nollywood, is a significant part of the arts, entertainment, and recreational sector, has now evolved into a major money-making, revenue-generating, and internationally award-winning industry, which is globally recognized. Nollywood, with the projected worth of $6.4 billion, Africa's largest in terms of values, numbers of annual films, revenue, and popularity. It produces over 2,800 films annually and approximately 8 movies daily.
As at now, we are producing no less than 5,000, 10,000 in a month. Go and cross-check in censor board. Because every week censor board will record no less than 100, 200. On each film that we produce, we have to censor it with a large, huge amount.
From the Nigerian censor board?
Yes. And although I will appreciate the man that's there now, it's doing perfectly good to us, but civil servant, they can't do more than that. But they know how much we are giving the government.
In what ways has Nollywood impact Nigeria's economy and reduce unemployment in our nation?
The only industry that are helping the Nigerian government about the non-employment. If not the Nollywood, you will have seen a lot of crises in the town. Graduates from university will come to us. Either you go for OND, whatever, even secondary school, they will join us.
Statistics shows that in year 2021, Nollywood movie industry contributed 2.3% and about 239 billion naira, which is $660 million, to Nigeria's gross domestic product, GDP.
Well, if they can give us full support in terms of, investing in our industry by encouraging people to come and invest, because we need investors. Then we have some other things like that we can't shoot our film confidently without the intervention of government. So if they can help us, by giving us loan, so when they grant us loan, so people will be able to do a better production.
I can advise the government that let them create a bank for us and call it an entertainment bank, that all entertainers can go there and take a loan, and it will help. Let me give an example. You come to this place, come and beg for the house now. We are going to pay. If the government can give us a film village, it will help us a lot. On that piracy, what I think government can do is, it's only the law. If you go to the court now, the fine of whoever that pirated your job is 5,000 naira. What is 5,000 naira? After spending a lot with the lawyer, a lot on going to the court, risk and everything. If the government can say whoever pirates any job, death penalty, people will stop it.
Respondents opined that with adequate support by the federal government to the movie industry in terms of grants and enabling environment, it will help in employment generation, increase the gross domestic product (GDP) of the nation, while also projecting the image of Nigeria.
NTA Badon, thank you for that, for the information. So there's revenue going from the Nigerian movie industry to government. Little matter. No wonder they're always saying government come and sponsor us, government come and fund us. We are watching Weekend Deal. You are a part of the program. We've been getting some of your messages. We want to have a chat now with Dr. Olagoke Olorunleke Ifatime. He is the head of department Theatre and Performing Arts, Bayero University, Kano. Great to have you on Weekend Deal.
Thank you. I'm grateful. I'm happy to be here.
Wow.
Yeah.
When we talk about theatre and performing arts, many of your students, or perhaps even you, are gravitating towards the Nigerian movie industry as more of your students acting beyond the school?
Yeah. Even though the primary focus of our training is the stage, but you find that the screen provides a bigger platform for our students, and because of the nature of the Nigerian movie industry, it creates a greater opportunity for them to ply their trade, to ply their skills.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So they come out well-grounded from the school.
Certainly.
We did hear from Kannywood, the producer that we chatted with earlier. He said that the growth in Kannywood has been from stage to screen.
Yes.
So obviously they are moving in the right direction. Yeah. But I want to talk about it's gladdening to know that the challenge of piracy is being greatly reduced at this time, because we've heard from the producers that nowadays they either go to broadcast houses or they just put their movies online. Yeah. We don't have the DVD and CDs and all of that, so that's good. But we want to talk about celebrating our diversely cultured nation. Would you say that the Nigerian movie industry is giving that enough attention?
Yeah.
Are we celebrating enough of our positives?
Well, it is never enough when it comes to celebrating the positives, when it comes to celebrating the greatness we have as Nigerians. It will never be enough no matter how much you celebrate it. But the screen, the movie industry cannot shy away from the realities no matter how much they try to represent the ideal. You know, the gaps which exist among us will always be reflected, but we need to make conscious effort to ensure that we project integrated relationships, we project unity and all that. Yeah.
Because we get, I think, perhaps, you know, there are different ways to tell stories.
Of course.
We're not saying tell lies, but we're saying put your best foot forward in terms of the technical know-how. You know, many of the producers we've been talking with in the past week, I'm talking about funding. And what we may ask ourselves, some producers have gone at it alone and they're making headway. Why are so many people asking for support from government? And then again, there's the CBN Intervention Fund. I don't know how many of them have explored that avenue.
I mean, every filmmaker would want to be well-sponsored, will want to have enough resources for their productions. The access to these funds is where the issue is. But I can tell you that no matter how beautiful your story is, if you do not have the required resources to tell such stories, it won't come out as powerfully as you would want. So certainly funding is critical to good storytelling.
But besides government, are there other areas where people can source for funds? What about the private sector?
Yeah, I mean, the private sector, I think, carries, in fact, much of the burden in terms of sponsorship for movie making.
like some I've watched, I'm of the opinion that they belabor the issue. Everybody's telling the story in the same way, in the same format, the same song, the same dirge-like experience. We can reduce the enormity, the way we spread that particular part. We can script over some parts. We can, I believe we can diversify our storytelling style. Yes, we're depicting reality, it's on ground, but the manner of the storytelling and the images we're putting out there, isn't it also important?
Yeah, but if that is what sells, I mean, if any movie maker you see wants to sell, so if the way they tell the story is what sells, that's what they will keep doing. This is why we ask for government sponsorship. Government needs to come in. Then government can now choose, can determine how it wants the story to be told. But you leave it to a businessman who is a filmmaker, it is what sells he will keep doing.
Okay, because he wants
to make
money.
Profit, yes.
What about partnerships? We are being told of crossovers, like Igbo man will feature in a Kannywood movie. The Kannywood people will also feature in Igbo and Yoruba movies. Are we having enough of that? Because that would definitely show more unity and showcase our diversely cultured country.
Exactly. Cross-cultural features is very important. But you see, again, in terms of our storytelling, we cannot run away from the realities we have on ground. That is why you see, for instance, when in Kannywood, for instance, you feature an Igbo person, you see the stereotypical feature, you see the kind of character he's being as the role he's being given to play.
Like
or you
a businessman.
Or you go to Nollywood, you'll see that mostly the guy who makes Indomie, or the guy who sits at the gate, or the guy who does the shoemaker, you see that is projected
that is
to
really
be
the stereotype.
So you see, we keep telling our stories like that. But if government wants us to really tell stories that celebrate our diversity, that encourages unity.
But beyond government, your nation is asking it of you. Your nation needs it, because I think the Nigerian movie industry can set an agenda. I'm talking about being futuristic. We can begin to tell people what we expect of them in terms of culture, in terms of norms, in terms of behavioral, aspects. We can project, and we can do it with. Just like entertainers do, they begin to tell you what they expect to happen or what they will prefer to happen that will be for the betterment of the country. Can't movies do like that?
I mean, movies have the power to do that, yes. But like I told you, the filmmaker is not a conscious ambassador of the country. He's a businessman. He wants to make money, And then there are themes, there are subject matters, there are deliberate conscious things that we need to sell, yes. We need to promote unity, we need to promote all these things. But the filmmaker wants to make money. He's not after unity.
Sentiment.
He wants to make money. And it is what sells that will be in front of his screen.
Yeah. And you've told us what we can do about that. NTA Programme has suggested a bank. But let's see what Randy found. He was looking at clusters of the movie industry in Nigeria. Randy, sure.
It all started in the 1940s Hubert Ogunde's local theatre days, which ushered in the Yoruba traveling theatre and eventually gave birth to the Nigerian home movies and emergence of the Nollywood industry in the 90s. Most parts of Nigeria have indigenous language movie industry.
If you look around all the content of the East, movies that come from the East, it circulates around the culture, the tradition of the people of the old, where they will now transform it or metamorphose it to what is happening within this period of time.
So I think that's what prompts the likes of Kasumiero and others to start the movie in a language that people from the northern part of the country will understand, a language that they know more, because most of the times what you'll see in the Indian movies and the American movies, few understand English and then few understand very little understand the Indian movies. Then that's why they brought in the Hausa movie industry so that they could produce content locally that people will consume and understand the message that they are passing to them.
The Gbaji is an epic Gbaji street comedy. Those kind of movies that are going to introduce the Gbaji people inside the Nollywood movie industry to promote my people with the best kind of my movies.
Most parts of Nigeria have indigenous language movie industry. The indigenous language movie industry in Nigeria has been pulling its weight, exporting content with huge viewership around the world. To what extent has the industry promoted national development?
Yeah, talking about national development, if I understand you right, I believe national development is something like upgrading the standards of living of people of the country. Kannywood are trying in harmonizing and peaceful in bringing harmony with peaceful coexistence between the viewers and other tribes and languages. So that's one point. Another point is promoting good governance. And then Kannywood also plays a very big and vital role in politics in the country because part of what they do is educating the viewers on their rights and what they expect from those governing them. Also, in part of the national development, I believe Kannywood has provided jobs and then has also provided a certain quota in the GDP growth of the country.
Generally, the industry has done so well for this great nation, unquantifiable, in the sense that we create job opportunities. A lot of people are into this filmmaking for life. Take me for example, that's what we do. If we don't act today, we will direct tomorrow. If we don't direct tomorrow, the next tomorrow we submit our script, thereby creating job opportunity for people around you. So now coming down to Nigeria perspective in respect to the development of it, you find out that in Nigeria we have a lot of languages where these movies that we produce are being subtitled to different languages. Today we are having Kannywood, Yoruba wood, Igbo wood, and generally, irrespective of the wood you belong, all of us are under one umbrella, Nollywood.
The language movies clusters have huge potential to achieving national development.
Thank you, Randy. That was quite interesting. Before we saw around this package, we were talking with Dr. Olagoke Olorunleke. Ifatime is the head of Department Theatre and Performing Arts, Bayero University in Kano. It's great to have you here with us on Weekend. And it's been quite enlightening.
Yeah.
You know, for many years, many people claimed, the Nigerian movie industry practitioners, as well as some Nigerians too, that Nollywood is the second largest movie industry in the world. Nowadays, we hear a bit different. But when we say largest, in what are we referring to? And is there any numerical data that can align with the facts and figures we hear that they are generating? Talking about the IGR?
I think that one of the characteristics of its being the largest is the number of movies it churns out. Number of movies keep coming out from Nollywood, you know, and of course the number of people that I hear that the Nollywood is probably the number one employer of labor in Nigeria. I mean, that could be verified, but people of different walks get the opportunity to work on sets either behind the camera or in front of the camera. And I mean, the industry is really robust. And then I heard people talking about in terms of the GDP, the contribution of the film industry, that we generate a lot, and that we have provided like 2.3% to the national GDP.
Thus, you heard when we are at the supermarket, you heard when we are at the university, you heard when we were talking with your peers.
Yeah, I was talking with my colleagues, yes,
Okay.
and they were talking about the Nigerian film industry and how much potential it has. But of course, it has not been tapped because we rely so much on crude, on oil, than on the creativity of our people and what they can do with it.
Yeah. You know, there was a lot of hope with Lionheart that would get to the Oscars. Yeah. You know, Genevieve went as far as she could. I don't know who galvanized her, how she mobilized, but we thought we'll see more synergies to move us quickly. You know, we don't let the grandeur that came from that event die before we continue to move. Yeah. What is being put in place, do you think, to follow quickly?
Yeah, you see, we do not just celebrate our own consciously. You know, Lionheart is probably one of the greatest movies we have done in this country. Not just in terms of the quality of cinematography and all that, but what it does for the nation. You know, if you can see how it promoted cross-cultural affiliations. You know, it's just fantastic. The Igbos, the Hausa coming together. You know, these are the kind of stories we should be telling about ourselves. And it is futuristic, just like you mentioned, because they are coming together to do business. And who knows what tomorrow brings, you know. So such kinds of stories are the kind of stories we should be telling. Because we are one at the end of the day, and our potential.
At the beginning, at the middle, and before we even get to the end,
yes,
we are one.
We are one, you know, and no matter how much we try to deny it, we will scream and shout and say we are different, Yet, for instance, when something Nigerian comes up, you see that all of us gather together to want to support it. Yet,
like football.
Like football, you know. Nobody cares whether you are Igbo or Yoruba or Hausa at that point. Yeah. So if we deliberately and consciously celebrate and sell our Nigerianness, you know, we have those stories.
But I'm throwing the challenge to you as the head of department at a very strong department that is well placed to produce something phenomenal. Genevieve has set us on a roadmap. I think with the talent you have under you, who knows what you can do? Yeah. And you can bring talents from other universities. Talk with your colleagues and see what you can put together. Are you thinking in that regard?
Yeah, certainly. Even when we do plays on stage, you know, the stage is limited in terms of the accessibility others will have, you know, but even in the way we tell our stories, we deliberately, consciously try to bring everybody on board. But it is limited, unlike the screen that travels all over the place, you know. So yes, it's something that we should do and deliberately celebrate our Nigerianness, certainly.
Interesting. I would like to see performance coming from a university that goes international. And I think we can do that better when there's a synergy. Yep. As in, get talent from where you can find within other, just like the Nuga Games. Yeah. Get talent from other schools and merge them and then see where we can go. Well, NTA ETV, that's talking about educational television in Lagos, was not left out in putting together a package talking about the Nigerian movie industry. They did some deep research. Tell us, ETV.
Filmmaking is not about business or making money. It is about professionalism, a career, and achieving a milestone. Nollywood, the Nigerian film industry, it's a global powerhouse that releases Nigerian movies made on the African continent. Globally, Nollywood is recognized as the second largest film producer in the world.
Nigerian movie industry, Christian Nollywood. I think they have actually done well for themselves, and judging by the quantity, today they are arguably the second largest movie industry in the world. So in terms of quantity, they have done well, but in terms of quality, I think there is still more room for improvement, especially in the area of their storylines. The producer will see another producer's movie that it is doing well in the market simply because it is ritual based. we just remove few lines from the previous one and go ahead to shoot almost the same thing. That is not creativity.
If you check, the Foreign Film Awards have never been about most popular films. It is always about the technicalities and those that meet basic requirements.
The beginning of a process is script writing, and it's absolutely important, whether it is written down or improvised.
From the post-production to the pre-production, there are techniques to be considered. First, the shots, the shooting. Now, when actually capturing, you have to you need to know what kind of shots to be taken at a particular time.
Use good equipment, tell good stories, do good acting. People who act, not just say your line, I say my line, but then people who live what they're acting.
Despite the huge potential of Nollywood globally, why the poor featuring of Nigerian movies in the international film festivals?
Nollywood, they are actually trying. They are actually doing their best. But one of those things that I could actually say is the reason why they are actually not meeting up to those awards internationally. Maybe we should also consider our spoken English. Maybe that is also part of what could actually be bringing us backwards. Probably we are not using the right English that is being considered internationally.
You need to win an Oscar bearing in mind that there are set principles, there are set criteria. People have been doing this for a long time, and you're just coming into the fray. What do you know? What do you understand? How did you produce? What do you produce? These are very important. If you don't think about these things, then how can you just be thinking about Oscars?
An international film award is a win for Nigeria, and it will inspire filmmakers to be more professional, and the competition will be stiffer. It will also change the perception of aspiring filmmakers who have little faith in Nollywood.
When you're actually producing a movie, the first thing you need to that come to your mind is hitting the international targets. Because once your movie goes round the world, then you're good.
The principal object of a production is to actually bring change to your society.
To a large extent, Nollywood has a comparative advantage over Hollywood and Bollywood in the type of stories it tells. The stories about our history will place more limelight on our film industry because it is telling the true Nigerian story.
That was rich. Yes, we should think international. Start right from the planning stage, from the scripting stage, from the setting up. Before you start picking your actors, before you start getting your production crew, think international. Dr. Fatime, what do you think?
Yeah, certainly. And even, in Nollywood, you see in our film industry, we do such collaborations. You'll see where movies show this kind of collaborations, like October 1, for instance, you see a story about the Independence Day.
I know Sadiq Daba was in that, so blessed memory.
So you will see that the colonial masters were represented by white actors in the movie, and all that. So yes, we need such international collaborations to also develop that international clout that we talk about, aside just celebrating cultural representations, which we do,
You're talking about your students, something annual, because they say Nigerian movie industry needs to show more on the international platform, and you are talking about what you're doing at the grassroots.
Yeah, annually, students of theatre and performing arts across the country come together to showcase their performance traditions. We call it NUTAF, which is the Nigerian University's Theatre Arts Festival. And we do that annually. Students from different universities, from the south, from the north, from the east, all over the place, they come together. And then each school will bring a performance, drama, dance, music, drumming, and all that. And then we do that. And we've heard stories of FESTAC too, that is even beyond the shores of Nigeria, where African countries came together with performances. Such traditions need to come back. We need to have those kinds of festivals, because the exposure it gives, will spark up your own creativity, and you'll want to do even much more. So yes, we need more of these international festivals. And then, of course, schools should also be encouraged to attend festivals which happen outside the shores of the country. I know that there are always limitations when it comes to resources.
Finance.
Exactly, and all that. But what the exposure does for you
is phenomenal.
You can't teach it in the classroom.
Sure. Where do you see the Nigerian movie industry, the way we are going in the next 5 to 10 years? We say there's oil, but we say we need to focus more on the technical know-how. We need to look at our scripts. We need to think international. We need to, these things we hear about sex for role, we don't want to even hear of it no more. Put talent first. Putting all this in perspective, let's talk about the next 5 years.
Yeah, well, if you look at the last 5 years, right? Where were we 5 years ago and where are we now? And that will give you the projection for where we will be in the next 5 years. I think that the future is very bright for the Nigerian film industry, very, very bright. And we see lots of talents passing through us from the institutions, you know, and we know that the future is really bright. In terms of the scandal, you can hardly, it's all over the place. You can hardly remove scandal from the film industry. You go to Nollywood, you'll hear same stories. You go to Bollywood, same stories, you know. But we are hoping and believing that it will just go to the barest minimum, you know, to a point that such kinds of things will no longer exist, that roles will be given based on merit, based on the skill, what the person brings on board rather than what one can gain from such people.
We need to wrap up our conversation at this point. It has been very enlightening chatting with you. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
At the Bayero University, we've been talking with Dr. Lagoke Olorunleke Ifatime. He's the head of Department Theatre and Performing Arts, Bayero University in Kano.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You're watching Weekend Deal. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Don't go away. You're watching Weekend Deal. Thank you for being a part of our program so far, where we've been exploring Nigerian movie industry and its contribution to national development. Linus Dennis is a 300 level student of education, political science at the University of Calabar. He says, I like your program and I want to react to what Dr. Ola was saying. It is true that there are talents in the university, but we get very limited opportunities to showcase our talents. Most of the university acts are both on stage and they are streamed online, but they are mostly limited to the theatre, arts and movie studies department. Yet we have those from other fields who are also interested and have a passion for the movie industry. We will like to be included. I wish you all the best, Linus. Speak out. Linus Dennis, speak out. Go to the Performing Arts Department and tell those at the helm that you are interested. I'm sure they'll find a place for you and for your skill. Arts, anyone? More arts. Art Life is next.
The lasting legacy of ancient and primitive medium of arts has been the inspiration modern artists have continuously drawn connections from to explore and reimagine the fullness of Nigeria's heritage in contemporary art society. Recently in Abuja, some creatives put together an exhibition titled Eyamapo.
Eyamapo was inspired by the story of the woman who once lived, who was known to be mother of creativity in the Yoruba land. So I decided to tag the exhibition around her to honor her and to also make people know more about her story. Yeah, so because she is one of those who have paved way for artists like us, because she was into like poetry and batik making as well. The first one that I did, First Eyamapo, was a solo exhibition, which I was the only artist who did that. But this time around, I decided to come up with bringing more artists together to exhibit their beautiful works, and we were able to pull things together to achieve a beautiful exhibition like this.
Modern and contemporary artists have always understood that primitive art have always been a source of new visual art forms, offering a deeper and more complex emotional and spiritual model which artists explore to express themselves.
The title of this piece is Kajala, and it's a Yoruba word that means let's succeed together. It means even as Nigerians, no matter where we come from, we can be Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa. So whether we're Muslim or Christian, whether we're traditional worshippers, it doesn't really matter, or it should not matter when it comes to living together, when it comes to moving Nigeria forward. And I can say this for myself because as an Igbo girl, I grew up in Kano, and it didn't stop me from being a part of Tashe during Ramadan. You know, I went from house to house with Hausa kids. I ate all the meals there. I grew up a northern girl, even though I'm Igbo. You know, so I can actually say as a Nigerian, as a human, the fiber of my skin or my person has Igbo, Yoruba intertwined in it. I'm an Igbo girl, but my painting is a Yoruba word. You know, so I'm pulling from Yoruba, I'm pulling from Igbo and Hausa and using it to succeed. So I think if everybody can do this, it just helps us borrow from our cultures and makes us even richer and our texture is even finer. So basically that's what Kajala stands for. Let's succeed.
Genotype is still fine, so it's just differences in personality, differences in character and being generally.
The title is After the Rain. And after the rain can mean a lot to so many people. After the rain means after tribulation for me, after going through your hard time. Just like in the society, when we have rain, everybody runs to the shelter, goes to hide to avoid the rain. But after the rain, everybody comes out, bring out their goods to sell, and then life goes on. That's the same thing with after the rain for me. Because I believe whatsoever you're going through today, someday everything is going to be better, and you just have to move on and be stronger. And that experience will make you more stronger to be able to move with your daily activities.
Creative artists have always drawn inspiration from ancient arts, driven towards ushering in a new way of looking at not just the visual arts, but other forms of art, radically changing the direction of modern Nigerian arts.
What doesn't break you makes you stronger. It was quite interesting hearing that artist say that when we synergize, when we imbibe and inculcate aspects of other cultures in Nigeria, our texture is finer, literally and figuratively. To have your endeavor being X-ray, just like we have X-ray in the Nigerian movie industry, can be uncomfortable. But let's take what comes, the advice, the suggestions, take what can make impact, and let's see what will be in the next 5 to 10 years. God indeed bless Nigeria. Bye-bye. Have a great week.